All right, today we're going over the biggest canceled fights of 2025. We got robbed of a lot of bangers, a lot of legacy fights, but nonetheless, let's get straight into it. First up at UFC 311, Arman versus Islam. This would have been an amazing fight. Holy shit, the wrestling, the scrambles, the striking. It would have just been an all-around perfect fight. I think it would have been like a even better version of Umar Marab, kind of. I think Islam would have won this, though. He becomes even greater. I think it'll be a fight of the year contender. And he wins by 48-47. I think this will be an open stance fight, so it favors Islam a lot more. He could really whip up those kicks to the body, get his left hand going. I think his takedowns, will be able to land more takedowns and stuff, get on top more than Arman from that open stance. I think that'll just benefit him more. And I think he'll take this 48-47, maybe 49-46, but it'll be a very close fight, very competitive. Arman's insanely good. I'm excited to see his next fight. Hopefully, maybe he fights Oliveira, Max Winner. Maybe a BSD if he wins against Dan Hooker. I think I could definitely see that. Quick turnaround for like June, July, but we'll see. Things have been a great fight. We were robbed of it. And we got fucking Islam Moicano, dude. Like, great finish, but come on. Next up at 313, Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje. I think a lot of people were... so Dan Hooker's got a good chin. Justin Gaethje has very good power, but it's more volume power. I think he would have had a masterclass in this fight. I think he would have outclassed the fuck out of Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's like a distance rangy guy, but he does not have great distance management. This would have been 5 rounds as well. I think Justin would have TKO'd him at some point in the fight because Dan Hooker can't stop a punch right now. He's like a deer in headlights. When a punch is coming at his face, he just stands there and just kind of takes it. It's like a deer run in the middle of the road and just like... So I think Gaethje would have beat the shit out of him. It's been a war for the first little bit, I think. But I think Dan Hooker's... If it was 2021, Dan Hooker against Poirier, but now I think Dan Hooker just can't stop a punch. He's just... His brain... He does not have the same reflexes and like... He can't see the punches coming. He's fucked against Benoit Saint Denis. He looked like shit against Arman. I think Gaethje would have beat the fuck out of him. Next up, London Fight Night. I think this would have been a fight of the year contender as well. JDM versus Leon. Because I think JDM would force it to be a high pace and make fucking Leon kind of fight more output and not really pitter patter. Because JDM's gonna come in your face. Like I always say with some of these guys, like Benoit Saint Denis is gonna come in Dan Hooker's face. JDM's gonna come in your face. He's gonna try to outbox you, try to get some big shots. I think he would have won by late TKO or decision. I think Leon will be able to keep the distance maybe pretty well. First couple rounds, maybe pitter-patter. But as JDM finds his range, I think he'd enter more of a flow state with that boxing. The boxing combos, like, kind of like how we did against Belal. He was beating Belal most of the fight, but he kind of got his flow in the 5th round. I think we would have seen that. I think it would have been a very fun fight. Maybe Leon tries to go for a takedown, but I think JDM would probably be able to stuff most of them. Maybe Leon gets a couple, but I don't think he'll be able to submit JDM or hold him down there for the whole fight like Islam did. I think it would be an amazing fight. And JDM will take this one, in my opinion. Next up, at 314, I remember this was heavily rumored. This would have got Arman the title shot. Because Michael Chandler, he got his title shot, blessing all these guys who have beat him, get a title shot immediately after. But this would have been torture. I think it would have been a finish, ground and pound. I don't know about a sub. Because Michael Chandler's a little stocky, maybe hard to sub him. But, yeah, I think Arman will be able to take him down, beat him up, just ground and pound him and get a TKO in like the 2nd round, 3rd round, something like that. I think this fight, because it would have been 5 rounds probably, I don't think it would have went all the way 5. I think it would have been like the Paddy fight, just gets fucking dominated on the feet and on the ground. Next up, UFC 315. I remember I was picking Belal to beat Shavkat. I was over-eating the fuck out of him. I'm sorry. But I think Shavkat would have been champ. I think he would have beat the shit out of Belal, sadly. I love Belal, but Shavkat, I was watching that Gary fight back. I'm like, Shavkat's good. He's fast. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful. Got some nice kicks, good boxing. Defensively, not there as much in the striking, but it's Belal. You don't really have to worry about the power. Obviously, he's got a volume, and Belal's not going to take him down either. Because Belal, his takedowns, like, he likes to barrel into you. He like does his combo, barrels into you, does it backs you up, barrels into you. It's not going to work against. It's not going to work against these big, rangy, athletic, explosive guys. Like, it didn't work against Ian Gary. It didn't work against JDM. It didn't work against, or it's not going to work against a Shavkat, a Morales, a Prates. It wouldn't work against any of those guys. So, and do we think Islam would second guess a welterweight move if Shavkat was champ, maybe fight Ilya instead, but I don't think so. I think honestly he would have fought Shavkat. That was just a question to pose. I think he would have fought Shavkat. Now, I think Islam's on a duck. He's not ducking Ilya. He does gain something. Beating Ilya is a huge feat, but like it's not as much as going up to welterweight and getting that second belt, you know? So I think he would have, and I think he beats everyone, even Shavkat. But I think Shavkat and Morales are his most interesting fights. I think Shavkat as of right now, I'd say is the biggest test because Morales is so untested on the ground. I think if Gilbert Burns was able to take you down, Islam's gonna take you down. Let me get a sip of water. If Islam will take you down, that's like the same thing with Khamzat. If someone's getting close to, if it's one thing, all right, if you're not even letting him touch you, if he didn't let Gilbert Burns touch him, even come close like he did how he did against Sean Brady, which he did have a little bit of a different game plan. He could evolve after the Gilbert Burns fight. If he's not even touching you, the guy you're fighting, then okay. But if he is touching you, able to almost get his hands locked or gets his hands locked, you just defend it well. That's against like a Bilal or somebody like a Brady if he did. And you go up against a Khamzat, Islam, who have the best wrestling in the UFC, or Arman, they're going to take you down. Like, the thing with Islam versus Bilal's takedowns, why I was picking JDM most of the time that fight was announced. And then I watched the fights back, and I'm like, Bilal's takedowns are so much worse. They're less explosive, less athletic, they're less skillful. It's more so just barrel into you, try to take you down. And Islam has the perfect time. You put a little bit of weight on your lead leg to feint or whatever, just a little bit of weight, Islam's coming. And he's coming hard. He's coming fast. But yeah, Islam has way better timing. It's way more skillful. He has a better arsenal of takedown attempts. And if he gets a takedown, if he gets your leg, he could trip you. He could manipulate your body a little better to get you down and in a vulnerable position. Next up at UFC 315, another terrible matchup for Benoit Saint Denis. He would have been on a 3-fight skid. I think he would have not dominated, but I think this would have been a competitive fight. I think Joao Alvarez, he's nasty. He's a finisher. I think he would have finished Benoit Saint Denis, and maybe Benoit would have got fucking cut, dude. I don't know. But this was a bad matchup. He got Kyle Propolic instead. He almost got Gamrot, but he turned that down short notice. Propolic stepped up and just fucking barreled him and submits him. And now Benoit's in this great run, and he's about to be in the top 5 if he beats Dan Hooker. I don't know what Dan Hooker's ranked. Maybe top 6, I think it is. But Benoit Saint Denis is back. I like Benoit. He's a fun fighter, and I'm glad this fight did not happen. He would have got killed. Same thing talking to Johnny Walker. He's on a little bit of a resurgence after one fight, but this would have been rest in peace to Johnny Walker. Lamb to a slaughter. Remember they made the Guskov one for 311. They made a Walker versus Mirzakhanov for the Qatar fight night that was supposed to be May 17th. Got pushed all the way to November. And I think they tried to make it on 316 as well. He would have got knocked out. Guskov is a little more interesting because Guskov is very defensively irresponsible. So maybe Johnny Walker flukes it, but I don't think so. I think Guskov would have found his chin before. Because Guskov has pretty good recovery with it when he gets knocked down. Johnny Walker does not the same. Guskov hits hard. He's fast. He's really fast. And he's aggressive when he needs to be. He's also he can be patient as well, just kind of wait for you to come in. And then Mirzakhanov, you're fucked. Like, he's light on his feet, bouncing. I think these shorter guys, when they face someone really tall, like a Johnny Walker, like a Rakic, it's actually beneficial for them because they could come under. It's hard when you're a bigger guy, you're like down, you're like looking down. It's hard to block that from coming under like a guy. Just all his shots are coming from below. I think it's pretty hard to defend that. I think Mirzakhanov would have made this look easy. Guskov as well, but that's just another thing with like Mirzakhanov when he's fighting like Apollo, because he's got either had that fight now, or if he's fighting Ankalaev. Those would be really hard fights for those guys because Mirzakhanov, he's short, he comes under you. All his shots are coming from under, and he's explosive. So if he touches that chin, you might go to sleep. You most likely are. Next up, UFC 316. Mario Batista versus Chito Vera. Mario Batista has good volume. He showed that in this fight with Patchy Mix, who stepped up for Chito Vera. This would have been more CTE for Chito. He wouldn't have done anything. Mario Batista is pretty durable. He just battered him for 3 rounds and got the decision. Chito Vera sucks. He's facing David Martinez next for the co-main of Mexico City, I think February 28th. He's just going to get battered and beat the fuck up and lose another decision and throw his hands in the air like he won, but he didn't do shit. 317. Obviously, this fight was rebooked for late in the year. I think it was also trying to be made for May. But if it happened at 317, I think this was the closest we got to it. I don't know for sure. Before the December one, obviously. Pantoja would probably still be champion. Where would Josh Van be? Maybe in a number one contender fight right now. Because I think he probably would have fought September. Maybe October. They put him on a pay-per-view. Hold him out for a while. Maybe they put him on the August 319 card. Because he would have fought early June, maybe mid-August. I think I would have done that. Maybe August and December. And Van would be fighting. Maybe in talks with the title fight for Pantoja right now. So I think Pantoja would have probably fought Kopp in December. And then beat him. And then we'd be talking about Van. He would probably be in a number one contender fight by now. Maybe against Tyra in December. He would be fighting that. Because this fight would have ended the same. So Pantoja would still be champ. He would have never thrown that head kick. Never dislocated his elbow. I think he would have. We'd be talking about Van versus Pantoja right now. Next up, Abu Dhabi Fight Night. Movsar title shot, maybe? Movsar versus Pico. This would have been a really good fight, really fun fight because, Movsar, he's going to apply pressure. He's going to wrestle you, try to hold you down. And Pico has that wrestling background. He's a good wrestler. He's explosive. And I don't think Movsar would have been able to kind of find that read, the same read Lerone got, and knock him out. Pico was very aggressive. He was hitting some good shots. The thing with Pico, his offense is so good, but his defense is so bad. And his chin is not good enough. He's been quoted like multiple times in his career. I'm so gassy. Incredibly gassy, but what the fuck. But Pico, his chin is not there. He's been quoted like 3 or 4 times now in his career. And he's only 29, like really badly quoted. That one against Lerone was bad. But maybe Evloev gets a title shot in December, or maybe the one now, because I think it would have won by decision. But Pico's nasty. This would have been a fun fight. I was excited for this. Crazy debut though. But hopefully we can see this fight. I wonder what Pico's gonna do when he comes back, because he's been silent. DDP as well, kind of up until recently. There's a lot of guys who are silent after big losses. But let me know what you guys want for Pico. Next Apex Fight Night, Tyra's comeback, easy W. This was just another big fight, big contender fight. Not big, but decent contender fight. I don't think Amir Albazi's that good. I think Tyra would have beat him up, showed good improvements in the boxing and all that, the striking. And I think he would have beat the shit out of this guy. And just, probably be injured again, sit out another year. It's been an easy dub for Tyra. And maybe if he won this, maybe we're talking a title shot already. I don't know. But, yeah. So he might get a title shot next anyway. So next up, Mexico versus the Noche Fight Night. I remember this was in talks for Mexico early in the year last year. And then I think, if I remember correctly, Diego Lopez was talking about the Noche in September. They offered him Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez turned it down, of course, because Yair Rodriguez turns down everyone. He's a bitch. Talks about the last fight, or last video. Yeah, I think Diego would have won this by whatever. Grappling, striking. He would have knocked him out, somehow submitted him, just beat the shit out of him. But we need to settle this beef. I hope we get this fight, but I don't think we will, because Diego Lopez is a dangerous dude. Maybe if Yair Rodriguez wins one more fight and Diego Lopez is champ, then they'll run that. That would be awesome. But I think maybe if Diego Lopez loses and Yair is still sitting out, I don't think they're going to do this fight, because Yair's going to just turn it down unless it's for the belt. Next up, Rio Fight Night. Charles versus Eve. I don't know, dude. Charles Oliveira, his chin. How would his chin do? It's 3.5 months after he got knocked out by Ilya. Rafael Fiziev is not some big power puncher. He's got some power. He's got some pop. He's very explosive and in his strikes. I don't know. I don't know if he would have won this. And maybe would have been leaning Charles. I think I was leading Charles up until it was like 2-3 weeks when he dropped out. Fiziev. I was leading Charles by like mid to late sub, kind of like later round 2, round 3, round 4, something like that. I mean, that's 60% of the fight, but sometime around there, like maybe round 3. Because Fiziev, I don't know, he's never faced a grappler like Charles. That would have been interesting. And Charles, I think he would have been able to get it done. But the way he fought Gamrot, I don't think he would have fought Fiziev that same way, just walking in the punches. He would have to be a lot more careful, keep the range. But interesting fight. Charles could have definitely got knocked out. I don't know, but I think I would have leaned Charles in this one because Fiziev might gas out because Charles his fights are pretty high pace, especially if he's wrestling you, which I think he would have implemented some more offensive wrestling in this fight. Maybe Fiziev gasses, he gets a sub. I think that's what would have happened like round 3 or 4. UFC Vancouver, Fluffy versus De Ridder. He would have bullied this RDR. I think he would have beat RDR regularly, but this RDR that came into the Brendan Allen fight to Vancouver with the terrible blood, because he got a blood test recently or after the fight, terrible on every metric. He said if he would have came in like this, getting gas after round 1, Anthony Hernandez would have just finished him in like the second or third round, like ground and pound or some shit, submission, something. He would have just bullied him and got him out of there, and it would look really bad for RDR. Right? Worse than like sitting on the stool and being like, I'm done. Because he would have got battered by Anthony Hernandez. And maybe Fluffy gets a title shot because we wouldn't have known De Ridder was in a bad spot during that fight. And Anthony Hernandez goes out, dominates his guy, puts on a more fun performance against a better guy than Imavov. But I don't know. We got Fluffy versus Strickland, which I'm happy. That's a fight I'm excited for. That's a great number one contender fight while Imavov gets that title shot. And RDR Kyle is an amazing fight too. That's an interesting fight because that's one both those fights are hard to pick. Strickland, Fluffy, and then RDR, Kyle. I don't know who I'm picking yet. I'm leaning Fluffy and I'm leaning RDR, but both very tough. And that's it. That's the end of the show. Those are all the major canceled fights we got in 2025. Let me know your favorites that we missed out on that never happened. And yeah, next video is coming tomorrow. Talking a little bit about the White House and I think some unranked contenders or some guys who are going to go in title run. So those are going to be 2 pretty good videos. One short, one mild. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comments down below.